welcome everyone to Wealth Legacy Conversations with Sean and
Dwayne.
And we are so excited because we have our dear friend. We used to be a client of his, but now we are definitely friend and we're claiming him as family. Kevin Ramirez in the building. He is like the bomb.diggity.com when it comes to lending in real estate. He has a wealth of knowledge and we're excited to have a conversation with him. So, Kevin, can you tell the people who you are, what you do, and how you add value when it comes to real estate?
Well, I appreciate the introduction, Sean. As many of you guys heard, my name is Kevin Ramirez. And basically what I am and what I do, I'm a hard money, private money broker. I've been doing it for 5 years. And essentially, to break it down as simple as possible, I help brand new or experienced real estate investors get the funding they need to continue to grow their portfolio in real estate, such as fix and flips or rentals. I come in with the money, and hopefully everybody can grow from there.
I love it. Show me the money. Dwayne, do you want to tell people how we came to know Kevin? This is really an interesting story, and it was definitely a blessing in disguise.
Oh man! So we were doing our deal, and
our first deal.
Our first deal, yep, our first deal, and we were going through some pains trying to get the funding part of it taken care of. And we were feeling like we were about to lose our deal. Like our deal was about to fall through. We were waiting on some funding, and it wasn't able to
materialize.
Yeah, they weren't really able to get the funding to us as fast as we needed it. And I reached out to Savion Austin.
Shout out
to the Austins.
Yeah.
And or the Savions.
Inside joke.
Inside of that. But shout out to Savion and his wife Crystal. So we reached out to Savion, and Savion said, I think I know a person. And he gave me Kevin's number. And we reached out to Kevin. 2 weeks later, our deal was done.
That is what happened. Kevin, now I don't even know if you recall that because I'm sure you've done so many deals between now and then. But what I love about you is that you have a heart to help people. You are reachable and you are relatable. And so when you're taking on new investors or even experienced investors, how do you interact with them? Because that, when it comes to the funding and the money, that's the part that gets people tensed up. And so how do you deal with that?
Well, I guess you could say food for thought. It depends on the kind of person I'm talking to. Somebody with experience, right? They kind of already know what they're looking for, right? But in your case, you guys were brand new, I believe, and anybody else that I talked to is brand new. How I talk to them, how I treat them is basically when it's needed, I walk them through the whole process, kind of like hand holding. It's a lot to go through, right? You're not buying your first home to live in. This is an investment. And whenever you invest, whether it's in real estate, stocks, crypto, whatever it may be, there's always a level of risk, right? And as I spoke with you guys when we first met, and anybody else that's brand new, I always make sure that they are aware 100% of the good and the bad, and what's the possibilities for growth if things are done correctly, right? So that's basically how I cater to almost anybody and everybody, is making sure they are fully aware with the information that I can provide them so they can make an informed decision. And based off that, I can sleep well at night.
Yeah, I definitely love that. One of the things that I remember about you that gave us confidence and trust, because again, this was our very first fix and flip. We're looking for a significant amount of money to fund the deal, is that you, number one, asked us about the deal. You looked at the property and you gave us your honest opinion on if you felt like it was a viable deal or not. So that was the very first thing. You were not just trying to get us funded and it be a bad deal. You gave us an honest opinion about what you thought and what the possibilities could be based on your experience. You understood we had to build that relationship with you where you would understand kind of where we were from a financial standpoint with capital, from a credit standpoint, and then based on our scenario and situation and how fast we wanted to close. Kevin, I think you went out the screen. Come back. There you go. But based on that, you were able to really help us determine and shop out what opportunities that we needed to take on place. So I love that about what you were able to provide for us and how you were able to walk us through it. Dwayne, do you have any comments before I move on into my opener and ask a few questions?
Oh no, no, that summed it up perfect because we were new, we were brand new, and we didn't know, if it was a good deal. We thought it was a good deal, but you know, having somebody who's been around a little while, know a little bit about this business to kind of, help us, guide us, hold our hand, not scare us to death, but also make us aware of all the risk and all the potentials as well. So.
Yeah. So, Kevin, how did you get your start in becoming a lender, broker? How did that even start?
That is, when I always think back to that, honestly, almost on a weekly basis, like how did I end up here? Quite honestly, it just happened, right? So if I can summarize it for y'all, I didn't go to college, right? I was just working a regular job, but I knew that there was something more to life, right? I When I was in high school, this kind of falls into it. When I was in high school, I was like, is this what life as an adult is going to be? Wake up, go to work, go to sleep, wake up, go to work, go to sleep. I was feeling that in high school. I was like, there's got to be more to life to this.
Oh,
There's got to be more to life. So I wanted to go to college, but I didn't have the funds or the backing from my parents to go. So I started working at a regular job, which is fine, no problem there. But after a while, I just felt lost. I was like, what am I to do without having to go to college? Is there an opportunity for success somewhere? You know, I always wanted to go into the financial industry, right? Always wanted to. It's something that always intrigued me. Had nothing to do with the income, had nothing to do, excuse me, with with the suits or how people come across. It's just, I guess you can say finance is very, very important, and I wanted to know more about it, how to leverage it to grow in wealth and also help other people grow. But I didn't even know how I would get there. Long story short, I networked all over Atlanta, went to so many networking events for probably a year, basically just trying to talk to anybody to just say, give me a chance. Like, I'm willing to learn. And I actually got into life insurance first for 2 years, right?
really?
Yeah,
Not,
I would. Yeah, I got licensed. I got licensed to do life insurance. I learned a lot about that, so much that I think I'm not licensed, so I'm not here selling. But I think everybody should know how the benefits of having a financial vehicle like that in tough situations, right? But after doing that, I realized, look, this is great. It is involved with money, but I don't feel driven to even do this, right?
mm,
So I started the process again, and I was fortunate enough at my church. There was a gentleman that approached me and asked me, "Hey, what are you doing for work?" And I was like, "Honestly, I just put in my 2 weeks notice. I don't know what I'm going to do next."
you serious?
Yeah, and so he mentioned that he recently started his company and doing finance, and he said if I'm interested. I was like, let's go, right?
Sign me up.
He explained it to me, right? I still had no idea. I went to the interview. He told me again, no idea. Then when I finally onboarded with him, probably 3 4 months down the road, still had no idea what what was going on. But it took me a while. But I'm glad I never quit. That's one of the greatest things I've ever done in my life is not quit, because I went through a long period of not knowing what I was saying, what I was doing, how am I going to get clients. It just felt so difficult. But I went through that experience, and whenever I onboard somebody new, like I'm training or hiring somebody in sales, hey, it takes time, but don't quit. You just have to be determined. It will come. It will come.
Oh my goodness. Okay, so your character, your double determination, your faith, like all of that plays into your story. And Dwayne and I both come from untraditional backgrounds as far as career progression and even what we're doing in business. So I absolutely love these success stories. So, okay, you're navigating through talk to us about some of the things that really blew your mind when it came to creative financing or opportunities for people to get money. Because in communities like yours and mine, we don't just see money floating around. So it's already intimidating to think, I'm going to purchase a house. Where am I going to get this money from? But on your journey, what are some of the things that you learned?
Wow, there's been a lot, but I'm going to break it down as simple as I can. I realized how important it is to have a good understanding of real estate. Okay, for short-term gains and especially long-term gains. The process of making money through rentals, or fixing and flipping a property, there are so many creative options, right? I have met so many investors who've gotten so creative on how to make good rents, despise everybody else doing what the traditional way, you know? It's just, I can't even put it to word. It's just mind-boggling. It's
I
like,
love
wow, right? And I'll never forget the way too, where one at the time, one of my employees, one of my loan officers, he was probably like 3 months into the business. I was training him. I was his manager, and I'll never forget his excitement. He stood up. He slammed his hands down. He stood up. Kevin, do you know how easy it is to become wealthy in real estate? Like, because he understood at that point, he understood how beneficial the loans that I do can be such a great tool for your toolbox in order to get wealth, wealthy, or in a way rich, or financial freedom through real estate, because it's I'm not saying it's easy, but the process
but
is
it
simple,
sure
just
is.
as long as you have a good team.
Yes.
Yeah, and you make a good point, because that good team is going to help you make calculated risks. They're going to help you make informed decisions. They're going to help you analyze deals to say this is good, this is bad. They're going to also be the ones that at your corner to say it's not we can't, but how can we? And let's get creative and find. And Dwayne, you have any questions for Kevin? Because this is like so good to
No,
me.
no, I'm just listening. This is good. This is good. He spoke a lot.
Well, I do want to add one more thing. One of the biggest lessons for me in sales, right, is, typically when I was working with, I guess you could say, everybody starts somewhere, okay?
Yeah.
When I was mainly working with like new investors and the small deals that most lenders didn't want to touch, right? What Basically what I was charging, in a way, like my fee, my commission, kind of like realtors earn their commission 2 to 3%. I make my commission 2 to 3%, right? When there's money to be made everywhere, for all parties, me as a lender, the realtor, the investor, I realized the bigger the deal, the easier it is to get funded, right?
Yeah.
It was so hard for me to sell a client at the time on a, let's say, just a standard $100,000 deal
Hmm.
at 1% origination, which is $1,000, right? Then my biggest client ever, from a luxury real estate realtor investor, the loan was like, I think, 700,000
Hmm.
at 3% origination. It was going to be like, what, 15K. I was so scared.
Were
I didn't
you?
say a thing. I just presented him the term sheet, and I just hope that it went through. And I was like, again, I went in there, look, if we have to get it down to 2%, 1%, 0.5%, that's fine, just get the deal done. He just looked at the sheet, did some numbers. He said, okay, can we close by this Friday? Yes. And onto the side, my realtor was like, hey, if there's money to be made by everyone, why can't you make some too?
Yeah.
And it totally shifts my point of view on how to work with any investor, because I don't know, it was just a golden nugget that I'll never forget.
Yeah.
That just makes so much sense, because that's what I love as a winning team. When we all can make money, when we all can be prosperous, when we all can learn and grow together, I mean, why not do it, right? And it does shift your mindset to not being afraid and taking those bigger leaps of faith, because the opportunity is out there. And that's one of the things. So you just brought up a good point. When we talk about, you've been able to experience people from all different backgrounds. I mean, you've also run into some circles where there are just very wealthy people. Can you give me the difference of, like, from a wealthy mindset, how something versus like the poverty stricken mindset, and some of the things that you've been able to learn and take along with you?
Well, this ties into what I just said. I understand when you're investing, you want to protect as much as your money you have, right? I get it. It's business. When you are, I guess you could say, in a different income status, right? Class, those, I guess you could say, those kinds of clients are more willing to pay what needs to be paid in order to get a deal done as quickly as possible, right? Where you're getting, even to this day, experienced investors that want to nickel and dime everything, right? Who down the road, a few months into the deal, end up spending thousands of dollars more because
Yeah.
they were trying to micromanage every little detail possible, right? And they end up spending more than they should have, only because they can't let go of that sense of control, right? Where people with, I guess you could say, more funds, they understand the risk. They're not in the business of losing money, don't get me wrong, but they build their team with so much trust within each other that they're okay paying anywhere from $10,000 or $20,000 as a consultation fee, because they know that their team is going to get the job done the way he expected it to be.
And they're going to make money in the long
So
run.
it makes money in the long run, and it gets deals done quicker. That's the main thing. Get in the deal as quickly as possible and out of it as quickly as possible, right? My first deal, my contractor, everybody, all the investors I talked to said I overspent on what my contractor was charging me, right? He charged me probably $10,000-$15,000 more than all the other quotes I was getting, but he completed my first flip, $90,000 budget, in 3 weeks.
Unheard of.
3 weeks.
Yeah.
But if I was going to, nickel and dime it, it would have taken me maybe 2 or 3 months.
Oh yeah. Or longer.
Yeah.
Or exactly, or longer.
Yeah. I think some of the things for us, and Dwayne, you can speak to it here, is number one, when you are able to close deals quickly, even for deals that are on the market and you're going through a realtor, you have leverage and power. So we've been able to get deals that have been on the market for $30,000. I mean, for a significant reduction in the price without being unfair to the seller, right? But we've been able to get it done significantly because we leverage private money and hard money, and so that's kind of considered as cash deals. We're able to close quicker, it's guaranteed, and so people like that advantage over. So it gives you a little bit of leverage and power as far as being able to have some compromise and wiggle room. Number two, what we've learned from, just like you said, from a contractor, when we're looking for bids, typically, we've been so fortunate we've been able to build like a dream team in that aspect. But, as we were getting started, we would get a couple of bids, right? And the cheapest or least expensive is not always the best, because you pay for what you get. You get what you pay for. Dwayne, don't pick on me.
Oh yeah.
You get what you pay for. And either it's going to be some hidden costs, or there's going to be more of a lag time or whatever. And I want to make sure, again, in a deal where everybody's going to get money, I'm not managing or accounting anybody else's cash. I just want to make sure that everything is done fair and equitable. So you bring up some really good points. Any reflections, Dwayne?
No, just think, well, just like you said, I mean, we don't go to the restaurant, run in the back and, kind of look over the food, see how they're cooking it, tell them you don't want this, you do want that. We don't do it. We just want our steak to be good. We want it to come out right. I don't need to know everything you put in there. I don't need to, tell you how to trim the fat. You know what I mean? It's just those things. Like, it's the same thing. When you go into these properties, guys will ask me, sometimes contractors will be like, hey, I can do it this way. I can do it. Like, long as it's right and it looks good and it's, and it's done professionally, right? I want it to look professionally done, because that's why I'm not doing it, because I want it to look a certain way. So I'm not here to tell you how to do it. I just need it done. If you say it needs to be this way, then do it that way. I don't, if it costs a little bit more to do it right, just do it right. I want it done right. So, you're right. You can spend some money in that aspect because you go in there and you tell them how to do it, it don't work out, or an inspector come in and say, okay, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to cut it. You're going to have to do something different. Then you end up spending more money and more time in the project because you didn't allow the professional to be a professional and do what he does best. So.
Yep. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
So I'm going to ask you a very not general, but a ABC question in lending for real estate. And then I want you to get ready and take a breath because I'm going to ask you like a deep question that is just so fitting for Kevin. All right. So the ABC kind of easy question would be, can you explain to people, the difference of hard money lending versus private money lending? Let's just stick with those two at a basic level, right? The difference between those two and how they work.
So in my understanding, in my experience, because if anybody else hears this, they might say I'm wrong or right, or in my experience, hard money.
This is our platform. You're right. How about that?
And hard money, in my experience, doing these kinds of loans for myself and for clients, you're typically looking at a traditional transaction, like if you're doing a convention or FHA. And what I mean by that is like, we still verify your credit, your background to make sure you're a good, outstanding U.S. citizen, right? We order an appraisal. For the most part on the property to make sure that you're buying it at a good price, and that the after repair value is good enough for us to lend you the money. And then we go through processing, takes a couple of days or maybe a few weeks, and then you close, right? Private money, it's so much better. Right? If you're using the right kind of private money, you don't have to worry about appraisal, credit check, background check, processing, review, go back and no, it's just, does a deal make sense? These are the numbers. All right, here you go. You've been approved. You can take it to the bank. We can close tomorrow if you want.
Now, how did you build up your repertoire of private private money lending clients versus hard money lending? How did you venture into those two? And then get ready for the deep question. That's like the oh so Kevin. This is Kevin's question.
Okay, so with the hard money, it just came with time. I built a great large book of business for three and a half years, just hustling and just meeting as many investors as I can. And with that, I was able to basically stick with, and this is for investors too, I was able to stick with my main 2 or 3 lenders as a broker, right? Mm-hmm. I could have taken it to any lender out there in the world, but I stuck with my main 2 or 3. And the reason for that is because whenever things needed to be done, like exceptions or maybe, an issue came up, can we get it bypassed? Can we rule it out? Something, miracle. Typically that works because my representative with the hard money bank would be like, look, Kevin's a great guy. He brings me clean business. Let's make it work for him. Right. Yeah. Where if I just jump around from lender to lender as a broker, these reps are not going to pay much attention to me. They're like, oh, he's just like anybody else, just trying to shop around. Okay. I'm not going to pay that much attention. I'm still going to work the deal, but I'm not going to put that much attention. So I guess it just takes relationship building and time. Right. Yeah. And finding the trust with your representative. Then private money, I guess I leverage more investors on this side because the more investors I meet that know true private individuals that are able to lend that quickly without all the conditions before, like hard money, I have to basically be trusted. I have to be trusted because they're called private money lenders for a reason. They don't want their information out there. They don't want you to hand out their phone number or email to just anybody you come across. So I'm very selective on who I send my what clients I send to my private money lenders because of that, because I want to make sure I maintain a good, clean relationship with them because of how private they are. And I want to make sure that everybody's winning and they're not going to get stuck in a deal that they can't get out of.
I love that. Okay. So there's so much there. Oh my goodness. My deep question for you. So I have seen such evolution and growth, even from a mindset standpoint with you. Like you've always been brilliant to us, but just reconnecting and having those opportunities, I just love what I see. So My question to you is, what is your true definition of wealth? Because you've gone from untraditional beginnings, right? Humble beginnings to, okay, I'm going to tap into life insurance because there's something there too. I love something about finances. Somebody give me a chance, to working in a company where you were able to do deals, to now CEO of your own company. The biggest lesson that you've learned about wealth from a mindset standpoint. And I feel like I probably asked you this question before, but I want you to talk about personally what it means to you.
I'm glad that you asked me that, and I'm glad I don't have to really think about it. My definition of wealth is basically down the road being able to enjoy the time with my family and friends, right? Money is important. We all know that. We need it to survive, to buy and do transactions. But after basically giving my, I guess you could say, my heart, body, and soul to my previous firm, like working not 24/7, but 25/8,
You were
I
26, nine.
I was working so much where I lost myself. I made a lot of money, for, I'm such a young age, but towards the end when I left that firm, I realized, what is the point of me making all this money if I can't even enjoy it?
Oh, wow.
Like I couldn't spend time with my family. I couldn't spend time with my friends. It's not that I was bound in my chair. It's just that I had so many responsibilities and so many tight deadlines that I had no choice but to commit to that and put everything else to the side. Once I left, found myself and realized, like, yes, I making income, making money is great, but my main priority now is making sure that I'm able to spend my time with my family, with my friends, because I lost a lot of opportunities with some good friends, and being able to live that life, share it, and hopefully people can follow in that route, and those steps as well. Making money is great. Do it. If you want to make $1 million a year or a billion, go ahead, do it. But don't forget to spend time with those that mean the most to you. That's my definition of wealth, being able to spend time with them at any given time.
Oh, I love it. Mr. V, what is your definition of wealth?
So mine
That was
fall
good, Kevin.
along a lot along the same lines. Like you said, money ain't everything. You make it here today, gone tomorrow. But those things that really matter, like what would you trade money for? Like what would you would you take all this money for your family? No, I wouldn't. You can keep the money. Would you give it for your health? No, you can keep the money. I need my health. I need those things are more important. So being healthy, being able to spend time with my family, um, and just being able to sleep at night, you know what I mean? Get a good night's sleep. Those things are more important than making money. So my ideal situation as far as wealth is, like you said, me being healthy, my family being healthy, being able to spend time with them and do whatever we need to do, and also just being able to rest. You know, a good night's sleep is very well needed at times.
Oh,
Yeah.
and give back. That's one of the main end goals
Yes.
as well. I see you guys give back to your community. I love it. My end goals as well is to be able to give back with the wealth that I accrued in my lifetime.
Yeah, and that is definitely one of mine. To be able to help people that need help, because you see yourself a lot in some of these situations, and with people, people trying to do things. Like I told somebody recently that I can remember being at a gas station trying to figure out whether how much money I can put in my tank and
Oh,
still
yeah.
eat. You know what I mean? So I remember being there. So when I see people in those situations, and or maybe they just need a little bit of encouragement. Maybe they need that gas money so they can go eat. Whatever the case may be. Try to help out and do things to put people in better positions. Maybe they need guidance on how to make their own money. I may not be able to give you the fish. Maybe I need to teach you the fish.
Oh
But
yeah.
either way, giving back is definitely part of our plan.
Yeah. And I think for me, wealth is of course there is a financial aspect, right? So I'm like a definition girl. And when you look up the definition of wealth, it's abundance of a substance. And I think people equate substance with things, materials, and financial gain, but am I full of hope? Am I full of encouragement? Am I able to give back? Am I full of purpose? And for me, it's real estate has been a way, a vehicle to get to that final destination of living my dreams out loud, living in my purpose, being able to help others, to go back and teach, to go back and reach, and to just be fulfilled in that way. And I think that is, I know, in fact, that is one of the reasons why we really appreciate you, because you exhibit those characteristics so well. And like you said, I'm not going to tell your age because I was blown away. I did not know your age, but you are so wise beyond your years. And I just want to encourage you to keep doing what you're doing. Like, we are here cheering you on every step of the way. So we are excited because we have some things that are coming up in 2024 that you are going to be a part of. So listen, if you're tuning in, make sure you listen out for that. But Kevin, how can people get in contact with you if they want to learn more about the financial aspect, if they need a deal done, and even if they are interested in starting a career as a loan broker? Like, how can they get in contact with you?
Yeah, absolutely. So my direct phone number, it's 678-497-6936. And of course, my email is kevin@fnx.capital.
I love it. I'll make sure that I put it on. Any closing remarks from you that you want to encourage or just leave the group with?
Well, you can always count on Kevin. You can always count on FENIX Capital. But basically, I guess one of the main key points of advice I can give to anybody, whether new or experienced, find yourself a good team, a reputable team. I'm not saying to give them the keys to everything. Keep an eye on what's going on around you, but find yourself a good reputable team with experience and backing, and you'll be surprised how much further you can go than if you were alone.
Oh, I love that. Wise man, wise man. All right, Dwayne, we'll close this out. Kevin, we definitely have to bring you back. I'm excited about what's going to happen in 2024 for many endeavors. We want to be a part of your team. You are definitely a part of ours, and we just appreciate you so much.
I appreciate it, Sean, and I appreciate it, Dwayne.
All right. So you're going to close this out, Dwayne?
Well, I'll let you do it. You do
Come
things
on,
so much better.
Kevin. He calls me Flavor Flav, but I'm going to make him do it.
Yes.
Kevin, I guess you're closing us out.
Dwayne, you got this, man. You got this.
Come on. We're rooting for you.
Let me see how. No, thank you for joining. We appreciate everybody for watching, and we'll see you guys the next time. Kevin, thank you for coming out. We appreciate all the knowledge you dropped tonight, and we definitely will be back, and we will do this again. So have a good night, y'all.
Peace.
Peace.
All right, have a good night, y'all.